welcome to all of you after what you put together last year. I'll start with Coach Duffy. What have the last few months been like, coming off the high of where your team was at, what the expectations were going into what tournament time was going to be like? What have the last few months been like for you?
Brad, all I can say is it's so great to be in front of our fans, alums, and supporters. We miss you guys so much. This has obviously been a very trying time, and I guess the best way to describe it for me and our program, it's been the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And you look back at our season last year with a lot of people just wondering how was the women's basketball program going to look. I think we exceeded some expectations with a very young team. Super excited going into postseason, and I'll never forget that night we lost a heartbreaker to DePaul, but we're so ready to kind of recover and get ready for that NCAA tournament. And then things changed dramatically. And I think since then, we've been about just having a resilient mentality. Each and every day we approach whatever's in front of us. There's so many changes for our student athletes, for our coaches, for our entire program. And we've just really had to stay as steady as we can, take everything as a learning experience. And I think that the most important thing that we've tried to instill across the board is to keep our standards extremely high. No matter what setbacks we have, no matter what challenges we have, we want to still be one of the top programs in the country. And I know we're talking the talk and doing everything we can to prepare for the season.
Chloe, your team, I'm sure, was ready to gather and find out where you were headed in the NCAA tournament, and then the pandemic hit. I know we're all exhausted of talking about the pandemic and what was going to happen at that point, but if you could, just how do you move on from that experience, from losing such a great senior class, and look ahead now to the season that you've been preparing for?
Yeah, I mean, we did have great seniors in Altia Anderson and Izzy Sangola. We were very proud of them. And I think when we found out, it was most heartbreaking for those seniors. But for me and some of my other teammates, we realized we still have a couple more years to get to that tournament. And I believe it was just more motivation to get there this year and the next year after that and many more years to come. And so we're excited to get after it this year.
Camryn, last year, the success you had under Coach Duffy's watch, you have newcomers on this team, many of them. How would you explain to them her leadership style and how to handle her expectations for what you all should bring to the gym every day?
Yeah, Coach, she's definitely a person I look up to in terms of leadership and how she carries herself and how she carries our team. And I think for our newcomers, of course, Coach is very laid back. You can have a conversation with, but when it comes down to business, it's time to, get down to business. Time to go to work. And they know that. We have our practices so far, and we're doing really well. Our newcomers are very excited, and especially our returners. So, yeah.
To get down to business. So much success in the Big East last year, and now here comes the big bad UConn Huskies again. You ready to add that team to your schedule? Camryn, I'll pose that one right back to you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. I think our team we're very accepting to any challenge that comes our way. We don't really have any type of, fear, anything. We've been through a lot of adversity and we're ready for more. So.
To Megan, to Coach Duffy here, with Lauren and Selena and your seniors now, in their careers at Marquette, they've been through a lot, coaching changes, COVID, and just the schedule changes that we've watched all throughout this season and off season. What have you seen in that group that gives you confidence in what you're about to go through in a season where none of us know what to expect?
Brad, you mentioned probably 4 or 5 things. They probably have another 30 on their list of the things they've gone through their time, both good and bad. And I guess, as their head coach, I'm just extremely proud of our 2 seniors, Lauren Van Clunen and Selena Lott. Just in my short time here, the maturity that they show each and every day, they've really embraced this growth mindset that we've talked about, of just getting better every day. And they've kind of found that balance of how they need to be super competitive with their teammates with what's ahead, but also be that person who can also develop really strong relationships with their teammates, solve problems. It's been fun to see them develop relationships with each other as well. And that only is going to make, things stronger from top to bottom. I've really enjoyed just being able to have conversations with them and asking them what they think. And I know just even having Chloe and Cam on here, we've talked a lot about being a player-led team. And I've challenged them in some ways of my definition of a player-led team. But when you see those two seniors coming every day with a great attitude, handling adversity, it's only going to trickle down for a pretty young team still. We got a lot of underclassmen that are still trying to find their way and grow. And we have, along with the two on our event tonight, we have two seniors that have done a really nice job of handling those highs and lows we talked about.
Chloe, you were smiling there and nodding to Coach Duffy there when she's talking about a player-led team. I'm sure those conversations get a little bit more uncomfortable when we're not on a Zoom call for Marquette supporters. What does it mean when she bestows onto you so much of challenging your teammates and challenging each other, and maybe even challenging her?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing. We want to be a player-led team. It was more of our decision to be a player-led team as well, and I think we really want to take that on. The most successful teams are really led by the players, and she mentioned Lauren and Selena do a phenomenal job on leading that, and I think we follow in their footsteps as well.
Once again, for everybody joining us, maybe you're coming on late to the Zoom. This is the kickoff event, the tip-off event for Marquette basketball. We're talking with the women's team now. We'll be talking with the men's team momentarily. But as we turn things over to Camryn Taylor, a returning star for this Marquette women's basketball team, the success you had last year, I've let off so many questions with it. For people that won't be able to, and that's everybody, won't be able to be at the Al and watch your games, Camryn, what can we expect from this team? What's the expectations you all have inside the Al?
This year our expectations are the same. They're maybe even higher. Last year was a little different because everybody was kind of overlooking us and all that good stuff, and we had a little chip on our shoulder. But that hasn't really changed. No matter what the pre-season polls look like, we're still going after it, getting after it every single day at practice, with workouts and individuals, all that good stuff. Even our newcomers, they know the expectations now. Our returners definitely know the expectations of what it's like. And we know what it's like to be up at the top, and we want to keep striving for that.
To Coach Duffy, probably feels about like a decade like you've been at Marquette with everything that's happened and unfolded since you've joined this program. Does it officially feel like home? Does it feel like you have made your mark on this program in really just the short time that you've been here?
It does feel like 10 years. I think you have a vision of how you want your program to look and how you want it to go. And the first year, it was very different than I thought it was going to be. And then you hope that there's some momentum going into year two. And define momentum however you want with everything going on. But I've enjoyed the challenges. I had a good friend in the business tell me we were built for this. Leaders in our program and people that choose to go to Marquette have just a knack of being able to handle any kind of adversity that's thrown at us, still do it with a great attitude, find different ways to still reach your same goals you want, even though it looks a little different. And I know for me personally, whether it's, 10 days, 10 months, 10 years, I'm thrilled to be here. I love putting that blue and gold and that MU on my chest every day. And I think we've only scratched the surface despite all the, little things that are going to make it more difficult. I think we have a group here on the women's side that are determined, and we're going to do everything we can to prepare ourselves to put the best product on the floor. And at the end of the day, Bill mentioned this is about the experience of these student athletes. And, there have been some really difficult days over the last 6, 7, 8 months. But I wish I could tell every story of how Camryn Taylor has handled this and how Chloe Marotta has handled this situation. We're this university and these two basketball programs are in great hands with the young people that represent us each and every day. And even though we're all a little bit afar from each other now, we have some incredible young men and young women who represent all of us each and every day.
I'd give you the last word because that was so well said, but I just want to go back to Chloe for one more because I think so much of what you hit on, Chloe, is what you represent. Just family and Marquette basketball. It goes hand in hand with you, with your family. To know all of the challenges that we've all been through in this last year, how much pride do you take in wearing MU on your shirt, on representing this school, this university, your family, and knowing what's at stake this season coming off of everything that this team did last year?
Yeah, I think through these times and through this adversity, there's no place I'd rather be than Marquette. I think the support that we've had from everybody from top to bottom has been unbelievable. And us as student athletes, I think Camryn and I can both say we've been taken care of extremely well. And wearing Marquette on my chest is something that means more than just being a player on the court. You know, it's about who we are off the court and in school and around our community. And I think every day when I put that jersey on or put that shirt on, it means something more than just being on the court.